The 2020 Golden Globe Awards take place this Sunday night at 7 p.m. And if you've been paying any kind of attention to the local movie scene lately, then you know, really not just locally, there's been some major movies hitting the big screen over the last 12 months. So we invited KMOX movie critic Mark Reardon in to tell us about his Golden Globe predictions because, Mark, as you know, this is when the floodgates open and everybody starts placing their Oscar bets based on what happens at the Golden Globes.
Yeah,
right?
so, you know, and I vote in the Critics' Choice Awards. Those will be next Sunday. We used to go before the Globes.
That's what I thought. You guys were always first.
I always called it the Iowa caucuses of award season. Then the Hollywood Foreign Press, honestly, they didn't like that. So they sort of jumped the gun, and that became the first awards game. You know, it's interesting because this will shape the race, and next weekend will shape the race, too. The Critics' Choice members are about 400 strong right now, so we tend to be a better prognosticator because I think the demographic makeup of the group is very similar to the Academy. The Hollywood Foreign Press is always a bit of an enigma because there's like 80 or 90 members. Nobody really knows who they are. Do they really work, you know, reviewing movies? It's mysterious, but this is an important event on the run to Oscars. So, and of course they have television awards and we do at the Critics' Choice as well. So the one thing that's unusual, as I think we all know at this time about the Globes, is they do Best Drama and they do Best Musical or Comedy.
Right.
Problem is, a lot of times, the Best Musical or Comedy isn't a musical or a comedy, right? So that's what, like,
the lines are blurry.
In that category, we have Rocket Man, which truly is a musical, but I think the winner will probably be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In the drama category,
the Quentin Tarantino film,
that was the Quentin. It was my #1 movie of 2019 when I did my top 10 list. So I think this is a strong favorite, not only for Best Picture in Best Drama, I'm sorry, Best, you see it gets confusing, Best Musical or Comedy in the Globes, but I think it has a very strong chance to win next weekend at the Critics' Choice Awards. And I think this is going to be between maybe The Irishman and Once Upon a Time. So The Irishman is the other favorite, I think, of the night with the drama category where you have The Two Popes and Joker in 1917 and Marriage Story. I'll tell you what, Sam Mendes' movie 1917, which was also on my top 10, is one to watch only because it's building momentum right now. But this is where we kind of narrow the field down and we kind of see who's going to be the winners. You know, we got a Missouri connection this year. I think a lot of people are rooting for Brad Pitt because he is a nominee and maybe the favorite in Best Supporting Actor, musical or comedy. I got to still separate these out. It gets so confusing, right?
I just think it's interesting, the Tarantino versus the Irishman, the Scorsese.
Yeah.
That's kind of those are two heavy hitters, but very different guys.
So here's what I'll tell you. You know, after I went, as you know, I went to the Irishman premiere in Los Angeles. And after I saw that movie, which I thought was a great movie, it made my top 10, but at number 7 on the list, I asked, and in the end I asked 12 people, including myself. I included myself in the 12 just as a semi-scientific, you know, investigation. I said, all right, and this was right after the movie, so we'll see if it bears it out. I said, if you are pressed right now, Robert De Niro's gun is to your head, his character, you know, in The Irishman. If you had to pick between Once Upon a Time and The Irishman, which one would you pick? Every person I asked, there was not one exception. Now, there was some hesitation. I'm like, the gun is to your head. You got to pick right now. Every person, including me, said Once Upon a Time. Now, you know, Matt, there's campaigning that goes on. People tend to like, you know, to vote for winners. So, you know, offer a real-life example. The Irishman, Once Upon a Time, come out this weekend. Those will be the favorites heading into the Critics' Choice, and voters will have to make a decision. I always felt like we should vote before the Golden Globes, we, the Critics' Choice Association, before the Globes are even handed out.
To take it,
because it's human nature. You know, you want to play follow the leader. You want to vote with the winners.
You don't want to be the guy that votes for the one-off that nobody.
But there are some, you know, I think going into this weekend and next weekend, there's some questions. Will Eddie Murphy win Best Actor, Best, you know, Comedy or Musical? I hope he does.
For Dolomite.
That puts him in the race for Best Actor at the Oscars.
One final takeaway before we get over to Laura. The streaming services are putting on amazing products. I mean, The Irishman was a simultaneous theater Netflix release. More and more of that's going to happen.
Well, you got that. You got The Two Popes. You have Marriage Story. Aeronauts is on Amazon right now. There's other good movies there, too, as well.
Mark Reardon, we'll see how the predictions hold. And don't forget, you can listen to this guy, Mark Reardon, weekday afternoons on KMOX 1120. Thank you, man.
Thank you.